Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You're back on it again. It's The Local Show. Thank you for joining us on this weekend that is, a holiday weekend, and we're getting ready to, only weeks away from gathering the families again and having a Christmas holiday, right?
I know. I was just thinking about when we were starting the show, almost 4 years ago.
Yeah,
it's like, what are we going to call it? We want to do this local show thing. We want it to be about local business. We want to do this local thing. And we're like, and I remember you going, well, just call it the Local Show. That's what you keep calling it.
You keep saying it, the Local Show.
And it became like, a fly, you call a fly, it flies around, it's a fly. It became that, right? But I think
it makes sense.
I think it makes sense. I don't think people are wondering what's going on. It's the Local Show.
And it's very obvious. So we champion local business, like one of our big sponsors, Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, so much so that they want to have their Christmas party here, which is interesting.
How about that for their care customers?
Yeah, right.
Isn't that interesting? So they're like, can we come over to your place? Like, sure, we got a big room.
As long as they bring the roast beef and
I think they're
clams
going
on the half
to.
shell.
And for some reason, Tom, they want you and I here. I'm not sure what that is all about. But,
I know.
Mostly me, but that's
You're
okay.
Right. Well, I'd rather that.
Poor Tom. Tom's the introvert with a microphone. How is that possible?
I don't know. Most people are. Look at what's her name, Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
She was a famous person in movies and everything, and singing, and she's got terrible anxiety, social anxiety.
I didn't know that. Yeah. I get nervous when I hear her talk about politics, but that's another topic.
Yes, that's all.
she really drives my anxiety up.
And I don't have any anxiety, any social anxiety. I just don't want to be, trotted out. So to speak,
I get it. So Safe Harbor, if you haven't made a will or put your house in a trust, by golly, you're not getting any younger.
No.
So talk to those folks. They know what they're doing. You don't want to risk something like that to the person that did your traffic ticket. That's goofy.
Look around your table during these holidays and say, do I want the state to take everything, or do I want to leave it to the kids?
Or long-term care, which is
even worse.
But SafeHarborWillsandTrust.com, Tom.
There you go. It's our pleasure to talk to a local champion right here. His name is Jim McCarthy, and he's the president of Northland Communications, Northland.net. Northland.net if you want to look him up on the internet. How are you, Jim?
Great, and thanks for having me back.
And thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about your background so people know how you got into the business.
Well, Northland Communications is a family business, so it's been part of my family for going all the way back to into the 1920s. The business itself was founded in 1905, and my grandfather started working there right around 1920 and acquired the company in 1926.
So it was what, a phone company?
Yes.
A telegraph company. What year was this?
What was it? Was it telegraph or phone?
It was phone. Party lines, the street would be served by one line, so you'd pick up and see if your neighbors were on.
Really? That's the way that worked, huh?
Oh, yeah, back then, yeah.
Tom, you never were part of a party line?
No, I'm not that old,
When
Steve.
I was a kid in Clay, you'd pick it up and the neighbors would be on. You're like, okay. And we had different phone numbers and it didn't last long, but I remember like, oh, hang on, someone's on the phone.
Yep.
Where did you grow up? In a tent?
It was in Clay, right by our friends at Chick-fil-A.
Was it a commune?
It was right by our friends in Chick-fil-A, but we didn't even have a house number. We were RD number 3, Rural Driver number 3, Clay, because Sister didn't even have a zip code.
Good golly.
The early days of social media, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So give me some reference here. Thomas Edison and Ben Franklin.
Tom Soccocio.
What was going on during that time when your grandfather was starting this? Like, where was electronics?
I think Thomas Edison was somewhere around 1880 or somewhere there.
Okay.
AT&T, I think, was founded in 1888 or something like that. So
I gotcha.
Throughout the country, there's about 1,000 independent telephone companies still in existence today. They just filled in the gaps where back then AT&T the only didn't provide service. They could only get to so many places, and obviously the rural areas weren't the first places they went to. So throughout the country, local community members tried to fill the gap.
When your grandfather started it, like Steve referenced there, were there still telegraphs around? I mean, was telegraphing a thing?
Sure. That was never anything we did.
Oh, you didn't do that.
No, it was just pure telephone service, party lines, as we said. And
right.
It's evolved into what it is today.
Yeah, and what is it today?
Yeah, well,
That's the next question.
the founding company is still there. Oneida County Rural Telephone, just north of Utica. Holland Patton, Stittville, Floyd, the surrounding communities is where we serve. It's small, about 1,200 access lines, telephone subscribers. We have about 1,700 fiber to the home customers, gigabit type services, where it's direct fiber connection right from our central office to the home. And so we're proud of that. That's really the future.
Yeah.
And the Northland company started in 1982 with the breakup of the Bell companies, allowed competitive, at that time, long distance service. So we started off in Utica, and then it's grown to be a full suite of business communication services, from your long distance service to your local service, private data network services, internet services. We sell support premise-based phone systems, and our latest initiative now is our cloud-based phone service.
So we use your services here for the things that are going on. So if you hear an internet problem, call Northland. No.
Hopefully it's not a problem.
Hopefully it's not a problem. So a lot of businesses.
Yes.
So how are the demands of businesses different than the demands of the consumer?
It varies. It's changing now where the internet is really driving everything.
Yeah.
So if, for a business, if the phone or the internet down, it's critical. Residents, 90% of them, if they even have a voice line anymore, are reliant on their cell phone.
Yeah.
And the hours of operation are certainly, with the internet, it's 24/7.
Right.
Where before, with the majority of our traffic being business traffic, the network could be lightly used from, say 8 p.m. to maybe 6 a.m.
Right.
But now it's just consistent bandwidth, 24/7, and things are going on through the night, business backups and all sorts of type of things.
And Tom's son is gaming, so you see the bandwidth go way down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, gaming's a big impact on network, and so the residential users could have demands almost as great as
I work at all hours, and I'll tell you what, it's funny. No matter how you slice it, you get very annoyed when your internet's not working. So it'll be midnight or 1 a.m, and I said, "Why is this so slow? What's going on?" Do you look actively for consumers? Households, residential. That's what I meant.
So we're monitoring all of our network 24/7. You're not necessarily monitoring individual usage levels and those type of things, but any kind of anomalies where there could be alarms. Something a piece of equipment or a part of the network is an alarm status.
What are you trying to get more customers, more residential customers or more business customers? Where's your sweet spot?
Our growth is business customers.
Okay.
And that's what's going to grow it. And that's where our opportunity is. And it's really based off our fiber optic network.
So why you versus the other options, the cable companies and the Verizons? And so what's so stinking special about you that has an opportunity for you to do business? Because it seems like they almost kind of have everything, and then there's you.
Yep. And, we view ourselves as a niche player. We're not trying to be everything to everyone. But we've been having a lot of conversations internally about that a lot. What's unique about Northland?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, all of our competitors have fiber. All of the features and functionality that we provide, for the most part, all of our competitors have the exact same thing. And so what it comes down to is, what we think makes us different or unique is that we're local, our longevity, and the service levels that we provide. But one area that we're trying to do a better job is articulating why that matters. The fact that we're 117 years old, it's a great story for my family. But if we don't do a great job articulating it, it really doesn't quantify.
We know someone that can help you with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just going to say, we do that.
But as a result of being here for 117 years, we joked about party lines.
Yeah.
But our business has been around through party lines, to single lines, to dial-up internet, to gigabit type internets, all the way up to dark fiber, and from TDM to VoIP, circuit-based switches, to digital switches, to soft switches. And so from monopoly markets, Oneida County Rural Telephone was a monopoly. If you wanted phone service, you called us and we'd tell you when we'd come out there.
Big changes all the time.
That's not the case anymore.
But
that knowledge and experience from the past allows us to understand where we're going in the future.
Well, that's great. That's Jim McCarthy right there. We could talk to you for a long time, so please do come back. Jim McCarthy, president of Northland Communications. Thank you, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Well, thanks for having me.
You got it. That's going to wrap up the local show, Steve. On behalf of the local show and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Get some physical activity today and every day. Eat well and stay focused on healthy living. The local show is heard Saturday mornings from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Get down to business. Keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, streaming everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and on YouTube.